I want to give him the nickname Goldberg for those of us who are old enough to remember Goldberg in his day with all those spears. I mean, the finish, the explosion in this spear. Get up. Who's next? I love it. Hey Browns fans, Nathan Zegura here with another edition of the Browns Breakdowns as we go in the film room to take a look at the Browns 2021 draft class with the senior draft analyst from The Athletic, Dane Brugler, providing the analysis, the best analysis on the planet. And today we're going to take a look at offensive tackle James Hudson. And Dane, what a story Hudson is. Former defensive end at Michigan, transfers over to Cincinnati, becomes a left tackle, and now a fourth-round pick in the NFL. Played very well last year. A Joe Thomas fan. We got a great story on that for you as we go through the film. But what do you make of Hudson? And all I keep hearing is great feet, and that's what you need when you're playing in this scheme for Kevin Stefanski and Bill Callahan.
Yeah, starting with the feet, it's a great place to start because, there are some issues with, technique and just mechanics. He needs to get better in a few areas, and that's to be expected for a guy with only 11 career starts at tackle in college. He was a two-way player in high school, but always defensive-minded guy, makes a transition over at Cincinnati, and I tell you, he's a guy that offensive coaches, they want to work with because you can see the raw tools, and you see it both in pass pro and then also in the run game. There's a lot to work with here, and as we start rolling the tape, you see in the run game, he's got bully tendencies. I mean, watch him right here. He's going to burst out of his stance, boom, hits the defensive lineman, puts him on the ground. Watch him stay low into contact, use both his hands, and latch drive. Something that really jumped off the film when watching him is just the grip strength. And it's what you see here. Once he has you in his clutches, he's able to control the point of attack. And so he's a former defensive lineman. He knows how that works. And so he's able to latch drive, put the defender on the ground, and he opens up the running room for that backside run. Cincinnati's able to get a new set of downs here because of that block by Hudson.
It looks like he's sacking a quarterback right there, the way he takes him and drives him right down into the ground, creating that lane. And so you want to have your offensive lineman, good feet, but you want him to have a little bit of a nasty streak to finish. And the way he finished that reminds me of another Brown who had a breakout season a year ago in Wyatt Teller, just having that ability to finish and put guys on the ground.
That's it. Once you get into position, once you gain that leverage, it's all about finishing. And we're going to see that in a couple more clips here with James Hudson, because that was a common theme for him. And, we're going to see it on this play. Look, let's keep things simple. For an offensive lineman, what's the number one job? You want to stay between defender and the ball. So Hudson, he's doing that on this second level block. I think that what stands out the most here, watch the fluid mobility once he's able to get out of space. He's quickly reaches landmark, boom, he's in his landmark, and then he's able to get the linebacker. And actually, let's go back to the sideline view because I think we can see it even better. Watch him in space. So he's going to go reach his landmark. He's going to be in position to make the block. Boom, stays in space. And so he's able to cover up the linebacker. You see that fluidity for a big man. Really, really impressive. Sinks, latches, overwhelms his man. And then, Nathan, like you were talking about, let's look at this finish here. I mean, this is called blocking through the echo of the whistle. The running back's already on the ground, and then he puts his man on the ground. Nothing illegal, nothing dirty about this play. It's just physical football. You see the mean streak. Bill Callahan saw this play, wants to work with a guy like this.
And you love his just ability to get out there in the space, flip his hips, square up, and then just engulf the linebacker, ride him down the field, and as you said at the end, just put him on his back in rather dramatic fashion. That could not have felt good.
Yeah, no question. And so I think, both things at play here. You see the athleticism, the fluidity for a big man. He's able to operate in space. And then once he latches on, he finishes. He doesn't look to just, ride the guy, just say, okay, we'll keep you over here. He looks to finish, bury him to the ground. Really impressive rep here from Hudson in the run game.
It is. And he kind of, honestly, the way he kind of comes off the line looks a little bit like a tight end. And this is a guy, as you mentioned, it seems, again, great. And this is what you're looking for in the fourth round. Excellent clay, and you give him to the ultimate sculptor, I would say, in Bill Callahan. And I mentioned earlier Joe Thomas. Well, when he made the transition to tackle, he was telling the media after he was drafted, he put on Joe Thomas YouTube clips, and Joe Thomas kind of was his tackle idol. That's who he wanted to model his game after. Now, Joe would be the first to say, he's a little more violent in the run game than I was, but if he can become the technician. And so I remember I texted Joe and I said, this guy loves you. And he said, really? I'm going to call. He called James Hudson the day that James Hudson was drafted, Joe Thomas. And that's just the kind of guy the Hoff is and the ambassador he is for our organization and our football program. But now James Hudson already has Bill Callahan, Scott Peters, who's an incredible asset to our organization, the assistant offensive line coach. But Joe Thomas is going to make himself available. And so I think Hudson, a guy that you're not counting on to start, your tackles right now are Wills and Conklin, has a chance to really just learn, grow, and develop into something potentially special for the Browns.
You love that. You love the lifeline there that Joe Thomas can be for a young player like this who, like I mentioned, 11 starts at tackle. He's still a pup. He's still learning. And, as we go to the next play here, this is something that I really like to see from him. A lot of, defensive linemen, they reluctantly move to the offensive line. But you love to see the physicality here. This is a goal line play. It's 3rd and goal. You're going to see Hudson here work the edge defender. Look at the length. Drives his man in there into the goal line. You want to see at the goal line, you want to see defenders go backwards, not forwards. And he's able to do that. And so, but I think my favorite part about this is after he another bury, but watch Hudson. Watch him when the play is over. Look at that passion. Look at that energy that he's showing. You love to see that. He's not scoring the points here. It's not going to go down as a touchdown, in his box score on his stat sheet. But he helps make it happen, and he knows it. He loves it. He buries them, gets up, and you see the passion, the energy that he loves to play with. That's something that you love to see for a young player.
I want to give him the nickname Goldberg for those of us who are old enough to remember Goldberg in his day with all those spears. I mean, that's 3 plays. That's 3 pretty good ones. And this one's spectacular. Little assist from the running back while he kind of falls into his leg. But the finish, the explosion in this spear, get up. Who's next? I love it. James Hudson. And look, I think Bill Callahan knows when you have that kind of an athlete, I'm going to get him where he needs to be in pass pro, but there is something innate in him probably coming with that transition from defense that makes him a special guy because he can move, but he's also a mauler, and we're seeing that in these first 3 plays.
Yeah, I think some of the core strength needs to get better, but look at the hand strength. I mean, he is handling these defenders, and so needs to work on a little bit of the play strength. But the hand strength, the 33-inch arms, he's able to stay square and then just drive, which you want to see, especially at the goal line. So run game, check. He's doing a really nice job.
All right, let's take a look at one of his pass sets here, and we're going to get one of those cool ESPN angles for you from behind and walk us through what you see here from Hudson and how he does in this pass set.
Yeah, this is going up against Georgia, so a really good defense. I mean, I think first off, you're looking at the balance. I mean, you're looking for a guy who is used to playing on the defensive side of the ball, but watching his slide, he stays balanced in his movements. There you go. The feet, he's underneath them. He doesn't look awkward, doesn't look out of control. He's staying square to his target, engages, and makes a play. So, I mean, he looks like he's been playing tackle for a lot longer than he has with a play like this. Moves really, really well. You want pass protection. You're looking for blockers who slide really with the efficiency. It's not just about quickness and protecting the edge. It's about being efficient. He doesn't look outmatched over there. He does a really nice job engaging, controlling his target, and he's helped Cincinnati score points here.
And Eli, again, another little celebration. He's invested in the team game. You got to like that. But the strength here, once he does make contact with that edge rusher, stands him up, and that allows the throwing lane, which gets the ball into the end zone for Cincinnati. Again, if you're thinking about it as a Browns fan, this is a guy that you hope you don't see this year. You've got Wills and you've got Conklin, but he is somebody that can become down the line if you need him to step in, ready to go, but also could become an heir apparent down the line, whether it's at left tackle, right tackle as well. The Browns are going to have a lot of flexibility in that regard with Hudson, and he's going to get basically training. I mean, at the rookie minicamp, Dane, he was the only offensive lineman out there. So he had one-on-one tutoring for day after day after day with 2 coaches, Callahan and Peters. That's got to be great for his development. And I know he's a guy who is eager to learn and get better, because when you have that kind of clay, that kind of ability, and you're raw, just get with the best coaching. And position coaches make all the difference in the world, and the Browns have arguably the best in the NFL, and Bill Callahan on the offensive line.
Yep, exactly. And there's no question he does need the technique work, even some play strength work, but the mobility, the strong hands, the mean streak, I mean, those are exciting foundational traits, the foundation of what you want to build. And it's just a great place to start for a young offensive lineman as you develop him. So to get him in the 4th round, you love the value there. And so the offensive line coaches, once they get their hands on him, it's just going to be a lot of fun to watch him progress and develop. And like you said, hopefully we don't see him this season because you have your offensive line in place. But if he is pressed into action, I think that he might surprise some people with how he's able to develop quickly based off the raw skill that he has.
You love to hear that. We love to go in the film room and get Dane's analysis. We'll continue to do it. Next time, we're focusing on brute strength. Tommy Togiai, 40 reps at 225, and you'll see that play strength when we go into the film room on his edition of the Browns Breakdowns. For Dane Brugler, I'm Nathan Zegura, thanking you, the best fans in the NFL, for hopping in with us on today's Browns Breakdown, looking at James Hudson.